Okay, so I wanted to give a little update, um, just with my exposure to the world and it being in September with all the different variants flying around on a holiday weekend, um, and just how long like the recovery rate is after you've reversed all your issues. So, it for someone to spend a day out with hardly really doing anything. Like I went to Starbucks. I went to spent maybe like 10 minutes in Starbucks, maybe not even that. So Starbucks. I went to a fish place where they sell fish equipment, and then I think I went into a restaurant to do takeout right afterwards. I spent a couple hours at the fish place, well, an hour at the fish place talking with a few people, giving them the lowdown on the JJ because my husband was talking to other fishermen and I was just like, yucking it up with the owner and giving him the lowdown on the JJ and the Georgia Guidestone. So that was kind of cool. He probably thinks I'm nuts, but that's okay. And then yeah, and then come home and eat whatever we had for takeout. Went to bed, and it was so nice and so relaxing. I woke up this morning and I just was like, I felt like I hit the wall. Now I blew my nose last night, but that was it. I blew my nose and that was it. I didn't really cough, but I was eating. I was very hungry this morning. My husband slept in. I was very hungry this morning. Ate like twice before I fell back asleep for a couple hours. And so it was around 12 that I made breakfast. But I did sleep in for a little bit. And then I made breakfast around 12. And then I went to bed for a couple hours till about 4. So I slept for 4 hours in the afternoon. And I feel fine now. Now imagine I went to a concert. Imagine if I hung out in a place for longer than an hour. Just going from different places was enough to give me an exposure to where my body had to recover. Now I only coughed a little bit, but it was the feeling of the fatigue is what gets you. No headaches, really, no body aches. But it's the fatigue right after you've been around somebody. Now, my husband said he's smelling onion smell coming out of his fingertips now. And it's like, that's so weird. I'm like, yeah, it's probably the virus. Like, this virus is pretty prevalent and it has a very distinct call sign, if you want to call it that. I don't smell it on me, but I just cut some onions. But I didn't make any onions for breakfast. I made bacon and I made pancakes for him and I. And so now he's going to go and fix his truck and do whatever. I'm making dinner, but I just cut up a bunch of onions. I'm making a Mexican type of chicken. So anyways, but I wanted to give you guys a lowdown. And then also, too, the quote that you either teach your kids to live by the laws of physics or die by the laws of physics. There's no in between, because the in between is still death. Being in a cured state of decline is still death. It just kind of prolongs the death process, and maybe you can invent things in the meantime. But nowadays, with how dynamic this environment is, I don't know how any kid's going to survive very long without feeding all of their predispositions and viruses and then dealing with the pain. And I know how many parents out there do not want their kids to be in pain, so they'll find every way to stop it, which is going to cut down that kid's life more and more. So I don't know. I'm just like, wow, just for me being out there, and I'm a real sensitive antenna because my body is now finally at one with the universe. I could sense and feel high energy frequencies and low energy frequencies, very subtle changes even in the barometer because you can hear it in the ears. So this is what you guys all have to look forward to when you finally reverse all your issues, because yes, you will be very sensitive to being around groups of people, and not like you couldn't, but I would say this, that the more you're around groups of people, the more tired you're going to be, and then the more that you're going to have to recover, and you have to make time for the recovery. So those that are in the sales world, those are in the just working with the public, that public is going to tax the shit out of you. And I hope you make time that you feed all the viruses and you take like a weekend and just sleep. Like, I'm serious. Sleep. Sleep is going to be your best friend for those that understand the JJ mentality and you work with the public and you work in a job that's like 9 to 5. Sleep is going to be your best friend. Eating and sleeping. Pooping, you'll figure that out. Pooping is not that difficult. You'll find ways to figure out how to do, a routine type of poop where everything's coming out from the night before or the 2 days. I've had poop in my system for 2 days. That's probably as long as I've had poop in my system. It finally wanted to come out the second day. Okay, because I didn't poop yesterday, but I pooped today, and whoo, all of it just came out. So that's the thing you must also be aware of is making sure that you have a very, very tight pooping schedule. And I know it sounds weird, but I'm telling you, the more you release, the more you train your body to release, the more that you'll have room to fit in the new evolution, because you're going to need to fit in all these new viral variants. Out of 7 billion people, you do have room to fit in new information. You just got to make sure that you make room. Okay? So that's all I'm going to say. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.